Greetings, family, greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome once again to African Buzz. Today we are going to talk about African sovereignty. You know, Africa has never gotten independence, and it's been long, like over 50 years for all African countries have not gotten our independence. But today we are going to talk about Mauritius. We are seeing Mauritius getting sovereignty over part of its islands. You know, Mauritius is an island nation in the east of Africa, out of Madagascar. You know Madagascar, right? Not the animation. Madagascar, the country, the big island out of the east of Africa, out of Mozambique. Now, out of Madagascar is Reunion Islands and Mauritius. And you know, we've seen Madagascar also fighting France, so that they can get some islands which are still owned by the French. But now we have been seeing Mauritius fighting the UK so that they can get back their islands, an archipelago known as Chagos Islands, which has been owned by the UK. So these islands were occupied by Britain since 1814, and the archipelago, that is the Chagos archipelago, was not fully returned to Mauritius when it won independence from the UK in 1968. You know why? So let us go into the history. So what happened? So in 1960s and the 1970s, the UK forced an entire Chagosian population off their homeland. You see, in 1968, they have not given Chagos Islands back to Mauritius. So when it was being colonized, the island was a part of Mauritius. But we are saying in 1968, when the Britain was giving back Mauritius to the Africans, they never gave back the Chagos Islands. So do you know why they never gave back the Chagos Island? There was a deal in which they were supposed to be paying Mauritius something, but in return they kept so that they could continue owning the islands. But in the 1960s and 1970s, the UK forced the entire Chagosian population off their homeland so that the US could build a military base on the island of Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is the largest of the Chagos archipelago. You know, archipelago is many islands together. So Diego Garcia is the big one. Even if you go to the maps right now, they call it the British territory abroad or something. British territory in the Indian Ocean. And since then, families have been separated, living mostly in the Seychelles, Mauritius, and the UK. So to go step by step in the history, US government officials in the era of decolonization, you know, UK used to own 15 countries and, lands in Africa. So the US government officials were, during this time of decolonization, or when they were leaving their colonies, were growing concerned about losing control of the world. So a group of officials in the US Navy developed a plan to identify more islands around the world, and Diego Garcia, that is now the biggest of the Chagos Islands archipelago, became the prime island on which they wanted to build a base. And Diego Garcia had people living there, like a whole community living there. And it's not just a community that came, they had lived there, the generation, their forefathers had lived there. So the US made a secret deal with the UK so that the British government can oust all the people, like move them out of the Chagos archipelago, now Diego Garcia, so that the US can build their military base there. And in return, their debt of $14 million owed to the US government would be wiped out. So the British government feared that if they knowledge that there is a permanent population living in the Chagos, they would have to report the UN about the new colony they had created. So the British did in 1965 recharacterize the entire population, and you recharacterize them and say they are laborers. Then after that, you remove them because the work is finished. So between 1968 and 1973, the British government removed about 2,000 people from the Chagos archipelago to Mauritius and to Mauritius and to Seychelles. They were not given a choice. Actually, most of them, when they tell their stories in the Human Rights Watch, research, they talk about when they left, they were carried together with, shit of birds, like the feces of birds, which was used as fertilizer. So you are put there in the smell. Some people died in the process. It's like in slave trade. Then, if you had dogs or animals, they were gassed until they died. And after that, now you are shipped with just your clothes and you are left there. And when you go to the other side, remember the people of the other side, it's a whole tribe, another tribe, so they don't like you. So once in the other side, there's discrimination, people calling you ugly islanders and all that. Then when you go to Mauritius or Seychelles, remember maybe your mother went to Seychelles, your father is in Mauritius. It's complicated because you are just, like beans and maize. Then when you go there, you're forced to sign a document. You don't know how to read, but either you sign or you put a fingerprint, saying that the document saying is saying that you are signing a contract renouncing your right to go back to your homeland. So when you sign that, you are given some amount of money, but you will never be allowed to go back. But in 2000, a UK government ruled in their favor, but they could not return back to their homeland. So we've been seeing years of trying to fight, people trying to go back home, but they cannot. And now we are seeing the government of Mauritius claiming full sovereignty over Chagos Island after the UK decision to give it back. And this was given back through the International Court of Justice. But there's something that you need to know. They gave back Chagos Island back to Mauritius. But in return, they have made a deal with the government of Mauritius in which they continue keeping the island of Diego Bucasia because US and UK still have a military base, and they will keep it for 99 years, in which they will be paying an undisclosed amount of rent to the government of Mauritius. So that means that this community which was moved, the Chagosians, will not be able to go back to their islands, maybe the other ones, but not the main island, which is Diego Garcia. So that is what is happening. Although it's a win that the sovereignty is now with the Mauritius, it will be very difficult for these guys to say we are going home.
I don't see it as a win because, it's your birthright, it's your given.
It's your
God.
home.
You're placed there by God. Your forefathers died there, they were buried there. So by you being disconnected to your origin, to who you are, to me it can never be a win. And for the British government to have given people forms to sign and say we will never go back to our homeland, that should be a crime. These people don't even know what they were signing. They didn't even understand what it is that they were doing. And then you have to force them to even use their fingerprints because they cannot even sign. It shows you they are not even literate. So you expect somebody who's not literate to understand and sign something that to sign something that they do not understand. That should be the biggest crime.
But we were told that you are signing so that you can be compensated.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Only those who went to Mauritius were compensated.
But it's a lie.
It's a lie. But that is what the British government did even in Kenya, even in Zimbabwe, even in South Africa. That is what they did to people. That's why they still own our land.
And why do we continue to let them do it?
For Mauritius, it's a small island with a big population. The military power is not. But the person who should be fighting for them is the AU. Although they are claiming that they were part of it,
Part of the
fight, I don't see them doing it in...
Which regional bloc does Mauritius belong to?
Maybe Oceania. I don't... SADC.
It's part of SADC. Yeah. I think it's part of SADC.
Yeah.
Then it's even a waste of time because that is another body that is the same as the EU. So it is very unfortunate that people have to experience such life experiences all in the name of a white man who came and was more clever than the people of that land. We are seeing a lot of our brothers and sisters in the US, in abroad, who were misplaced during the slave trade era. And it's very unfortunate that some wish to know where they really come from, wish to come back and know who their great-great-great-great-grandparents were and be connected to that land. But right now what we are seeing, it's just people saying, I'll go back to the motherland, and you choose a country of which it might not even be the country of your origin. So, well, it's better for these ones, they will still go back to where they come from. But it's still unfortunate because you misplace these people. There's a lot that they lost through that whole process, and then right now for you to say we have given it back to you.
Yeah, and online they are saying that this is the last colony of the UK. But every country in Africa is, or most of them are the colony of the UK. We have the colonies of France. Even today, we have not been free.
There's no freedom.
Look at Cote d'Ivoire. Just the years, and actually I was happy that even Mali changed their the Independence Day. Mali or Niger, they changed their Independence Day to reflect last year, because that's when they became free. But
that's independence.
It's crazy that the government of Mauritius accepted it. I wish even after going to the International Court of Justice, they said no, these people need to leave. They need to leave so that Diego Garcia can be taken back by the people of the Chagosians. It's not fair. It's not fair that the ancestors were ousted, they were killed, and they were mistreated. Racism was rife. And I saw even some of the descendants were given British citizenship so they can go and live in the UK.
As if that's something to even be excited about. Living in an apartment when you have left vast pieces of land in your homeland, and now you are suffering, with the ocean surrounding you. Now you are suffering in some small apartment. Those things are so small, so crowded. Very nonsensical.
So guys, let us know what you think about this. Is it a win for Mauritius, or maybe we can say it's a step towards a win because they have the sovereignty, and maybe someone a president, after they change the presidency, we can have maybe someone like President Magufuli who came and said no, or President Kibaki of Kenya, the late, who came and said it's not 999 years, but it has been 99 years and it's finished. So please leave. And maybe they could change the narrative. Africa is waking up, the global arena is changing, and our ancestors are back to fight with us. So I'm sure it will be a win very soon. Guys, let us know what you think in the comment section. Don't I look good? Don't you want this? We have an online market, elegantmasai.com. You get to buy this. If you cannot access that, you can send us a message on WhatsApp. And please, if you like to support what we do day in, day out, please support us by buying us a coffee. Yeah. Just for $5, $10, $15, $50, $100, whichever you're blessed to have. Like this video so that the YouTube algorithm can push it to many Africans, many black people, as many as possible, so that we can spread the message of hope. We see you in the next one. Bye.